people though. They're not the same as you. Put it like that.
They're
But
not the same as
with
you.
the place in the lips, just listen, because I'm gonna get to it real quick, because I know you got to go. The point is why I asked you about that time period, and the brother just brought it out in secular history, because the so-called Jews fled into West Coast of Africa as a majority. They did flee into other parts of Africa and Europe and Asia, but for the most part, they went to the West Coast of Africa. And the reason we brought that out is because the so-called Negroes and the West Indians and the Haitians were those people that fled into the Africa, and hence why most of the African slaves came from the West Coast of Africa. And the main point that we're trying to get at is because these are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's the point. That's really what we out here for. So this is not a religion. We're trying to bring people back to a heritage.
Right, I understand.
That's it.
I appreciate y'all talking with me.
And we're here every Saturday around St. Peace somewhere.
You're an Israelite, man.
Yeah, you're an Israelite.
Hey, you guys chosen people, man. All right?
You're royal.
What's up, brother? What's up?
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah, beautiful,
Real
beautiful.
quick to add on with the brother Osh was saying,
Point, brother.
the brother was saying that they got from 70 AD basically the Jews got cast into Africa. They actually got cast over there by Egypt, right? When you look up the sub-Saharan slave traders, when these goddamn Muslims took us in slavery and took us to the West Coast of Africa, that's how we got over there. All right, you can look this up, and this is how we got over there into the what they call the Slave Coast, the Ivory Coast. And if you go back to an ancient map and look at our those names, it's basically our kingdoms over there. All right, and the scriptures also say about that. They named the Arabs, the Africans, and who gathered us up together in the sub-Saharan slave trade and moved us to the other side of Africa. All right, and then the white man wound up buying us from over there. You can read about that in Joel 3 and 6. All right, just to link the history of how they actually got from where the brother was reading it, because he wanted to go into secular history. You can look this all up.
Yeah.
Same thing that's in here. All right, from that book to the sub-Saharan slave trade, and then on across. All right, that's your history, how you got over here on slave ships, which is spoken about in the scriptures. All right. That's all I had to say on that.
No, spirit. Hey, can somebody, oh, you got it? Hebrews 13 and 1.
This is the book of Hebrews.
But before you go into that, this is what I was looking for. Because Jake don't understand history. See, Jake talking about the history that Esau taught him pertaining to the educational system today. But see, Jake can't even go further than 1492. Because he's so stuck in Esau's language, biogenesis and all this and that. You have no idea, bro, we speak Hebrew, Latin, Greek, all that. You talking about biogenesis, bro?
And brother cut him with it.
But listen. Let me tell you how beautiful it is. He said biogenesis. What's the suffix of that whole word? Genesis. It's the first book of the Bible. Let's just go right there then.
Beginning.
Beginning.
You need to know what happened in the beginning. There you go.
Well, Ron, how do you say never mind. In Hebrew.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Right,
good,
son.
man.
All right, brother.
All right, take
Oh,
care,
wait.
Jake. Take care. Drive safe.
Spirit.
Rest
You know,
up.
hey, that's beautiful you said that, because it's gonna go right into what the scripture I want. Hold on, I'm gonna read this one. Hebrews 13 and 1.
Yeah.
I got it, brother. That's what I want, but it's gonna lead somewhere. Now, Jake don't even know that we are royal people that was living in Europe and Northern Africa for 1,000 years. The so-called white man was pushed into them caves. See, Jake don't even know his history. He don't even know that he don't even know he descended from kings and high priests, man, holy men, gods, literal gods on the earth. All right. See, Jake don't want to believe the Bible, so to say, because Jake got a lot of questions. But we pulled out one precept from out of a book, a book of secular history, and I said, "You a Jew?" He said, "I can run with that." But it took for him to hear from a man perspective, rather from the Most High's perspective. This is wrong with our people today, man.
Stiff-hearted, stiff-necked people, man.
Hey, the Lord said,
Perfect example.
I spoke to them, but they would not hear these. Hold on, I got someone to pull out, brother. All right. As regard Christians, Spain, and Portugal, Negroes were imported in droves from 1440 until the abolition of slavery in Portugal in 1773. Already before the discovery of America, says Fernando Ortiz, several thousands of Negro slaves had been expatriated from Senegal, Guyana, and the Congo, and were working in Lesbos and Algarves and several in Andalusia. That's what it says. The Catholic sovereigns were dealers in Negro slaves. I'm gonna get to the point though. It was Cristobal Colon, who went plundering in Negro slaves in Guyana before stealing Indian slaves in Cuba. All right. We be like Taino, Arab white Indians. Before the discovery of America, the Negroes already were cutting sugarcane in Andalusia, and in civil there was a municipal council of native Negroes with fraternal orders, kings, and overseers. And over there in Europe. It was already kings over there in Europe. They don't tell you about that secular history, man. Even though, hey, when you talk about King Arthur and the Knights of the 12 Knights of the Round Table, that's us. When you're watching 300, the Lacedaemonians, that's our people. It speaks about Lacedaemonians on the Maccabees, man. That's us, man.
And to prove that they were Jakes, man, you had the priests writing letters unto them, man. You had the high priest, what was his name? Starts with a J, I believe. I can't remember right now, but he was writing letters into the Lacedaemonians. He even tried to flee to them because they wanted his head. But why would they write? And in the letters they would say, "My brethren, my brothers."
Of the stock of Lacedaemonians.
Yeah,
Why would they say that if they're not brothers? They are brothers. You know? Come. I got one more. I got one more point. Cause he keeps talking about it's West African. We African, West African. Check this out. I'm gonna go right back to it. Before the discovery of America, the Negroes already were cutting sugar cane in Andalusia, and in civil, there was a municipal council of native Negroes with fraternal orders, kings, and overseers. This is primarily Judah, which would be so-called Negroes, Benjamin, the so-called Jamaicans, because Paul was a Benjaminite, and then you have the Levites, who would be the so-called Haitians today, who would have been the high priests, the Pharisees, and the Sadducees, who the Lord was dealing with, the wicked ones he was dealing with, because Paul was a Pharisee, he was a Pharisee, but he wasn't wicked, all right? This is the point I'm getting at, though. The Negro came first to the Indies from Spain, not from Africa. So you talking all this West African bullshit? The first sect of slaves came from Spain, cause we was ruling in Spain. We're ruling in Spain, cause that's where you get the diaspora from, dispersed. Cause you had Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand that were persecuting the Jews in Portugal, right? Yeah, but Portugal and Spain right there. But we were ruling in Spain. All right, I just want to bring that out real quick. Whatever you want to bring that out. Oh, you had something.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna speak on Jake. Just Deuteronomy 31, verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land. All right, and pretty much he said his power is the sun, man. All right, so he worshiped the sun. All right, all the other people, a lot of people worship Taj Brazil. A lot of people are in Islam. You know, worshiping the moon. All right, all over the place, our people is worshiping other gods. So I'm gonna read on. It says, "Pouring after other gods and strangers of the land, whether they go to be among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I made with them. All right, then my anger shall be kindled against them in the day, and I will forsake them." All right, because Jake forsaken, man. All right, that's why he's looking. You know, you can see the passion in him, but why hasn't he came down and shown himself? All right, why hasn't? If you're a father, he's like, if you're a father, why you didn't come down and show yourself? Jake is the fatherless, man. All right, and why? Because they went whoring after other guys. So what? He's a perfect example of our people, man. Looking for the Most High, man.
Hey, Israel seeketh the sign.
Yeah, they seek the Most High, man. That's how you know he Israelite, man. Why? You know, he was crying out, like, can he just come down and just show him, like, I need him, you know?
Hey, but that's what Jake was saying back in the day, and then when they saw him, they were bugging the hell out, man. Yep. You can't handle the Most High, man. Why you want to see him?
Come on, man.
I said, can you contain the winds? He said, yeah.
Hey,
come on, man.
I gotta add on time. So, okay, then, since we the highest form of life on earth, which you claim we are, tell me when you gonna die. Someday.
Suicide.
Exactly.
He said suicide.
I said, yeah, people try to commit suicide and still alive. You know? But, you know, we couldn't Jay every which way.
Jay didn't know what to say.
You know, real quick, his problem was basically that when he looks at the Bible, he thinks of Christianity. Yeah. You know? And Christianity, that's how you can tell the so-called white man done fucked up the minds of our people, because when you think of the Bible, if you're not in the truth, you think of the Bible, the first thing you're gonna think of is Christianity, and you're gonna do everything in your power to steer away from it. So he's going to all these different doctrines. He's a Moor, he's a Egyptologist, and he's into Darwinism. You know, all right. Our people's minds are screwed up. But all you gotta do is go right back to the scriptures, and the scriptures tell you what it is. Right? That's all I want to say about that. He thinks that this thing's Christianity. This ain't Christianity up here, man. This is the truth of the scriptures. The scriptures have nothing to do with the so-called white man. Like the brother said, the scriptures condemn the so-called white man. All right? Go ahead, brother.
If I can say, this is what's so goddamn bad about this image, all right? Our people was fucked up over this goddamn image. This is what's wrong with this goddamn image, man. Our people don't see themselves over. No, we try to tell them. He keep going back to Europe. I had a picture of actual King James. He don't want to hear it because he thinks it's a goddamn white man. But if he knew about the image, like the brothers got the book, Nation Knows No Color Line, they would see that they saw all of our history over in Europe. All those people over there was dark-skinned men, all right? That's why they don't like that image, because they know how. It showed me any image in this book. It's all our people, all right? The brother couldn't understand because Constantine, who's a white man, that's what he heard. He heard King James was a white man. That's what he heard. He heard all the people in this book was white people. There was white people in this book, but they the ones being condemned. All right, if you read this book and understanding, it's talk about how the goddamn Edomites, the so-called white men, gonna be destroyed for taking us into captivity. Right. If you're reading the Bible and Job 9:24, talking about how the white man came and covered the faces of the judges thereof. If you're reading the Apocrypha, which they took out, you'll read how these goddamn Edomites came and covered and took the faces and took the book of the law and tore it apart. And if you read in the goddamn, and not the goddamn Salaki, if you read in the Apocrypha, you'll read how they wanted to burn these books up and kill anybody who was reading these books. So, and when we went into slavery, they took this out so we wouldn't know who we are, all right? And that's what we out here trying to tell you. That's why we got these images showing you that that's not the picture of our Lord, but this is, all right? Showing you who our power is. These images is very important. As a young child, you grow up, and you see a teacher, your doctor, the policeman, the judge, anybody in authority, they look like this goddamn devil here, all right? Our people don't never see nobody that look like them, so therefore they can't believe none of that, all right? They believe that it's no God's gonna love them that look like this because they ain't never seen them like that. That's what he said. I ain't never seen him. He ain't never seen himself in a position of power, all right? That's why it's important to have this goddamn sign out here showing the world who the damn devil is, all right? That's right. And that's why we go out here and we prophesy and we bring out this image, all right?
And if I may say something, we're not saying that this is Yahushua. We're not saying that. We're saying this is a closer depiction than that. All right?
Yep.
Don't get that twisted.
And that's why Jake gravitated to that movie Black Panther so much, because they're looking for they're looking for something to worship, man.
If I may say, the whole point of the sign, like the brother was saying, so people can get a visualization. But the whole reason is to recondition you, because you've been used to this pale-faced devil your whole life. So we trying to recondition you with a closer image of the Lord, you know.
Right. And on top of that, he's only for us. He's not for them. It's only for so-called black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Nobody else could be down with this.
Hey, Khan, if I may add, and that's how you know that's the difference between the 2/3 and the elect, because the elect is going to get it. The scriptures tell you, stir up your pure minds by the way of remembrance, man. So the elect is going to put on that fear. Why? Because they are bearing the indignation of the Lord, because they are the ones that sinned against him, man. But Jake can't get that.
Hey, it's up to the Lord now. We gave him the seed. Brothers watered the hell out of it. Now it's up to the Lord to give the increase. You know?
Even rain today.
If we never see him again, oh well, the blood's off our hands. If he come back, beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna go back real quick to Nation Knows No Color Line, cause he was talking about Constantine and everything. But even in history, it proved that they depicted the mother of Yahushua, who the world really called Jesus, as a dark-skinned woman, and even depicted Yahushua as a dark-skinned man. Nation Knows No Color Line, the 11th chapter. The fourth stage in the development of color prejudice seemed therefore to have occurred in Rome of the 1st century AD, as a phase of the fight between Christianity and paganism. Prior to that, however, pagan masters held the belief that humanity, regardless of color, were either Roman or barbarian, and that kind of go back into when Herod was saying they were Jews. But at the same time, though, you're not a Jew by flesh. And also, how you gonna marry your brother's wife? You know? Yeah, I believe it's Herod, yeah. It says Christianity, the new religion, decided that of one blood God made all the peoples of the earth, and that all men were brothers in Mashiach. Moreover, the earliest Christians, which would be us back in the time of Acts, because remember at the beginning it said 1st AD. So the earlier Christian had to be like prior to 70 AD. Right? Moreover, the earliest Christians pictured the Virgin Mary and Mashiach as black, both being an evolution of the worship of Isis and Horus, which was once common in Rome. So they go to show you that whole people saying, oh, well, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and God, that goes back to Osiris, Isis, and Horus. But see, you received that doctrine from the so-called white man, because they said it originated in Rome. We never said that the Yahushua was or Horus or what's his name?